All right, guys, so in today's video, we talk about how the recycled plastic craze ruined all new cars. Not only cars, how it's ruined everything, but not in the way you may think. So, if you're here watching this video, a lot of you probably have bought a new car or a newer car or even an older car and realized pretty quick that a lot of the engine parts and interior pieces are made from really cheap plastic that does not hold up over time. Now, I am not against recycling plastic. I am against recycling plastic the correct way. Why are these parts so cheap and so flimsy and not holding up? Because they were not recycled in the correct way. A lot of this is due to impurities in the recycling process, incorrect plastic used. It could be oils, what I read, even glass, other things, foreign materials and objects in the recycled plastic causing these early failures. The problem with plastic that's been recycled is quality and durability concerns, obviously, especially on engine components where there's heat involved. All right. So reduced strength, mechanically recycled plastics can be weaker than virgin materials with reduced chemical thermal impact resistance. And then thermal is the engine meltdown issues, or let's say on coolant hoses, the breakdown or even the inability to keep shape under high heats. And you end up with coolant lines that are push lock, that oval out and break down, and all kinds of crap like that, which we struggle with here every day, right? Every day. You get a car with 60,000 miles on and above, you start seeing the breakdown of a lot of components. Depending on what type of engine it has, depending how much heat that said engine is making, most cars now are turbo. They make a lot more heat and it causes a lot more issues. But even back in the day, in the early 2000s, there was a lot of plastic issues back then with the German cars and whoever's using the push lock hoses. Fortunately, we did not see push lock hoses with Toyota at all, and stuff like that does not have those push lock fittings, therefore has no failures. Those don't even have radiator failures less than 200,000 miles, which is quite interesting. So pretty much the inconsistent properties that can be included in plastics are heterogeneous nature of plastics in cars, which are often mixed with different polymers, additives, and fillers like glass, carbon, and fiber, makes it difficult to obtain consistent, high-quality recycled resins. And you see that not only in plastic, you see that in also metal. Bought not throw Harbor Freight on the spot, but I'm throwing you on the spot. I bought a bench vise from Harbor Freight, been probably 5-6 years ago. A nice big one. We literally clamped the drive shaft in it, went to knock out a U-joint, and the second hit with the hammer, the whole vise fell in two. Now, it's easy to tell what was wrong because where it actually broke, it was cast iron. And where it broke, it was actually oil in there. So if you have oil, if you're spraying down the forms or whatever it is, or you have some kind of weird recycled metal that has a lot of sand in it, that's one product they throw in there just to get more product for cheap. Amongst many others, glass and everything else, but this was oil on the brake. It was actually oily inside the metal, and that's why it broke. We also see that with metals and everything, or just cheaper metals altogether that are sold as good quality. That also causes an issue. We see that with aluminum, with steel. We see that with all kinds of stuff. And anyhow, get off on a tangent there. Aesthetic issues. Recycled plastics have aesthetic problems due to impurities such as different colored paints and adhesives that were left on the plastic as recycled. This can make them undesirable for interior components where a uniform look is important. And a lot of the recycled materials on door handles. Who on here does not have a door handle where you go to open the door and the door handle breaks off? That's the thing. Window regulators, they have little pulley systems on a lot of those. Those pulley systems just fall apart, just shatter, especially after a few winters and a few hot summers. It breaks that recycled plastic down. And a lot of times the window regulator pulleys that runs the cable, you take your fingernail and push in that plastic. It's so soft. So they knew that wasn't going to hold up. They know it's not going to hold up. Do they keep making that stuff? Absolutely. Do they try to improve the quality at all? No. They may say they do, but that is not what we've seen over the last 20 years. There has been no improvement. If anything, it's gotten worse. Why does Toyota not have issues with the plastic parts in the engine bay? Some of that is recycled plastic, but it's done to a whole different level what other companies are doing. You know, just for instance, Ford is using recycled plastic from fishing nets for wiring harness clips and plans to expand the use of this material. Y'all wonder why your Ford has wiring harness issues. That's why. Did I make it up? Nope. Printer off the internet. Honda and Nissan aim to increase the use of recycled materials in new models. A lot of people in the last video or two said Honda's really gone downhill. I'm not up on current Honda stuff. Honda used to be one of the best vehicles you could possibly get back in the late 90s, early mid 2000s. But a lot of people are saying the qualities took a dive. I actually have some experience, the Honda CR-V, actually 2022. Somebody brought one in. I did notice that the skid plates in the bottom resembled like a plastic trash bag. They were so thin. There was no more bolts on the skid plates. It's all push pins. I don't know how the car itself holds up. I don't have much experience with that. I know they do use CVT, which everybody knows is a no-no. Until Toyota came out with the CVT that does not use a belt in the transmission. It is all gear to gear. That is only on use on the, I believe, on the hybrid models only. That may work. That may hold up. No more shift solenoids. No more of that crap at all. Maybe they're onto something. So far, so good. They had that the last few years. Working out pretty good. Honda's still using a belt. We all know a CVT transmission with the belt does not work out for anybody, except the manufacturer and the dealership that's got to replace it for like $7,000, right? So there is that. European regulations are being established to require that a certain percentage of plastics in new cars come from recycled sources. So European cars, Europe was the first one to lead the crazy, wild recycled plastic craze. And they were also the first cars to show up that it doesn't work, right? Hence we're having, back in 2001, already having push lock radiator hoses, plastic valve covers, and stuff that failed far before 100,000 miles. And it's not stuff that if it fails, you know, it's not a problem. It's stuff that fails, it's a problem. You know, Hella, Bear, all those German companies all sold out to China, all stuff's made in China. And that seems to be the biggest issue with everything. There is absolutely no way to buy quality parts. You could buy new parts. You could buy new parts for all that. Is it going to last another 60,000 miles? If you're lucky, it will. If you're lucky, I'm looking on the workbench here so I can find something. If you're very lucky, it'll last that. Well, you can see all the coolant hoses, wires hanging off of this thing. Everything's plastic when you get to this car, right? Even the heads of the water pumps on certain BMWs, which does not hold up, thermostat housings, all that stuff gets warped and fails more quicker than later. Big issues with the recycled plastics. Now, do they need to stop using recycled plastics? No. It would be nice to stop using on the engines, or at least use a proven recycled plastic that's not going to have the issues as the Toyota is doing today. And it's just, I'm just reading here, so if there's anything else that you guys be interested in. Already read contaminants, paints, adhesives, oils, and other materials. And the biggest problem too is in China, there's not much quality control at all. And a lot of those factories are zero. If you ever bought if you ever bought anything off Amazon or anything off eBay, you automatically know, or anything from AutoZone, O'Reilly's, or Advanced, you have bought Chinese parts. Especially when it comes to electronics or anything plastic, it just is not as good. There's no quality control over there. And it's a real bad problem. Not saying everywhere in China, 95% of China stuff is junk. There's a few companies over there that are Japan-based or US-based that actually just have workers there in a factory there and they manage it are okay. That's few and far between and probably getting less and less by the day. Very interesting video. As I live it here every day working on cars and stuff, you see it every day. That's why you see a lot of the older Toyotas from the early to mid 2000s going up and up and up in price because people are catching on really quickly. It's a problem. If you have to have Apple CarPlay, tire pressure monitors, you go spend $100 for Apple CarPlay screen, stick it on the dash like we have in this, and you have Apple CarPlay. You don't have to have the brand new car. You're going to pay anywhere from $34,000 to $100,000 for a car that's going to fall apart the first year is not what anybody wants. And you see in the comments, a lot of these videos you post that a lot of people are sick of that and they're no longer going to do that. And they're trying to buy older Toyota stuff or older Honda stuff. And the market's gone crazy on it. It's the way it is. So for today's video, guys, thanks for watching. The video's been doing really, really good. I really appreciate that. Let me know if you have any ideas, put in the comments, anything, other topics to make videos on, or anything else we could do to expose a lot of this stuff. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.